Good damn morning, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. Make sure you get your green gear 25% off, promo code Jericho1, all caps, the number 1. Let me ask you a question. See that? How can a state so pretty be so shitty? Question of the day. But forget about all that, guys. There are more important things. There are happier things taking place. Today is February 1st. What does that mean, class? That means today is the beginning of, drum roll, Black History Month. Yay! Black History Month. You know, the shortest month of the fucking year. And the month where they get to trot out the usual suspects. Who are they? Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Thurgood Marshall, blah, blah, blah. The same old handful of black folks they trot out every month, where the powers that be in these woke-ass companies act like they give a shit. Here's an idea. How about we weave black history into American history? And when the subject presents itself, you mention that, hey, this person was African American and they did this, because the time in which they did it, that was not the norm. How about that? Instead of singling out and separating a group of people, because as we know, when you separate groups and you highlight certain things, that creates animosity. There should be no more Black History Month. I can't remember which video it was, probably a year or two ago. I did one expressing my feelings on Black History Month and the joke that I think it is. Black history is American history. You know how I know? Because all the black history took place in America. Therefore, ergo, it's American history. So let's treat it as such. Take this Black History Month. What would The Rock say? Turn it sideways and stick it up your candy ass. Because we don't need Black History Month. We need American history. Why don't we have American History Month? How about that? Why don't we highlight the history of this entire country, no matter who contributed to it and no matter what they look like? I know. It's a trip. It's a crazy idea. Maybe we should give it a shot. So somebody, I think it was somebody on Instagram. No. I think my buddy sent me this. And it had a picture and of course, the backdrop of the picture. It must have been 8 people, 4 on top, 4 on the bottom. And in the backdrop, of course, it was kente cloth. If you don't know what kente cloth is, go ahead and look up Nancy Pelosi, 8 minutes and 46 seconds of silence. That thing you see draped around her neck is kente cloth. It's African garb. And it should only be worn by Africans. Because African Americans, which is a stupid ass term, makes no sense. We as black Americans have no connection to Africa. Find 10 black people and ask them where their ancestors come from in Africa. They couldn't tell you it was Central, East, or Western, Northern, or Southern Africa. They have no fucking idea because we have no connection to Africa, nor should we. These motherfuckers act like if black people go back to Africa, when we step off the plane, there's going to be this group of people welcoming us home, jumping up and down like the air up there. No, Africans look down on black Americans. If you wonder why, look at NFL. Look at some of these rap videos and rap songs. They look down on us and they think that we are lesser, which is fine. But if you come here and think that, fuck you. Okay? We don't have this fucking cavalcade of Africans waiting to welcome us back home. And to be completely honest, I think I'd rather be right here. A black American talking about their African American is like somebody saying, well, I'm a senior in high school. It's like somebody who's 40 years old saying they're a senior in high school. Well, I was a senior once, so I'm always a senior in high school. Wrong. Our ancestors may be from there. We are not. We have no connection to Africa. Stop that African American bullshit. If you want to have such a connection to Africa, sell all your worldly belongings and move there. Yeah, that's what I thought. But don't worry, guys. We got 27 more days of fun and adventure. Happy Black History Month. Whatever the fuck that means. Anyway, moving on to more nonsense. Speaking of Black History Month, you know what? I'm going to shorten it like the cool kids do. BHM. So in the spirit of BHM, the girl who did the poem, I guess, at the inauguration, she will be reading that, I don't know if it'll be the same poem, but she will be reading a poem at the Super Bowl. Yeah, because the NFL gives a fuck about poems. I bet you most of those dumb jocks who play football can't even spell poem or write one. They think Hickory Dickory Dock is a poem. Get the fuck out of here. When's the last time you had a young black woman reading poetry at the Super Bowl? That shit is so stupid. Yeah, we're about to play some football. We're about to run into each other and get concussions. But before we do, let's have some poetry read, shall we? Get the fuck out of here. That was like the time when I was 15 and we went to this really fancy restaurant and I asked for ketchup to go with my steak. Fucking, who the fuck is reading poetry at a football game, let alone the Super Bowl? Stop. When are they gonna get off of this fucking woke trip? Nobody gives a shit about poetry at a football game. But it's more pandering. All aboard, USS Pander is leaving the docks. Poetry at the Super Bowl. That's some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Why would you have this girl read poetry at the Super Bowl? If for no other reason than to pander to colored people. And there's going to be a whole bunch of them who fall for this shit, hook, line, and sinker. Wow, the NFL is really doing something to advance life for black folks. Like what? The NFL's already done enough. The NFL has created more black millionaires than any other business in world history. But now they're going to delve into some poetry. Stop. Oh, man. Anyway, on to our fucking old man in chief. So there's this video, and I'll put a link in the description box. You can check it out, where he talks about how many more doses of vaccine are going to be produced over, a certain amount of time. How many doses are going to be produced, week by week. How many people he wants to have vaccinated by the summer. And that's another thing. All this stuff is supposed to be rolling out by this summer. That's 4 months away. So what are people supposed to do in this 4 months waiting to get the vaccine? I don't understand that. Why does it take 4 more months? I thought they already had the shit. Whatever, but he's talking about how when the vaccines are going to be rolled out, how many are going to be rolled out, who they're going to be available to, and all that shit. But the funny part of this video is the numbers, because he says we're going to go from 400 million vaccines to 600 million vaccines, and that's enough vaccines to inoculate 300 Americans. Let me repeat, that's enough to inoculate 300 Americans. Hey, Bidenis Pervertis, I know I'm not in your cabinet and I know you're watching, so listen to this. And we just did the census, so you should have very current numbers. But there's more than 300 people in America. Or maybe he meant that he's single. Maybe they're only going to vaccinate 300 Americans. I don't know who this select group of 300. This is a new 300. Before, it was Gerard Butler's movie. You know, this is Sparta. All that shit, right? But this is a new 300. This 300 people, they are a select group of people, and I guess they'll be the only ones getting the vaccine by this summer. That's what he said. At least two times, I'm pretty sure 3 to 4 times, he said it's enough to vaccinate 300 Americans. And then he says, let me repeat. And he says it right after. Oh, man. What in the fuck are we doing here? This mushmouth old senile motherfucker has his shaky finger over the red button? What? I can't believe it. Every time I see this fool talk, I cannot believe it. This fool said 300 Americans more than once. Now I understand, as somebody who speaks a lot in front of people, you're going to make mistakes. I understand that. Nobody's perfect. When you talk a lot, you're going to make mistakes. But that wasn't a mistake. That wasn't him misspeaking. That's something up here. Some neurons aren't firing. Something is not connecting. That's what that was. And just the way he speaks. If you're a leader, you should sound like one. You should appear to be one. You should stand up tall and straight and instill confidence in your people. That's enough. That's enough to vaccinate 300 Americans. I don't know what the rest of you are going to do, but we're only vaccinating 300. Let me repeat. That is enough to vaccinate 300 Americans. Are you serious? Man, get the fuck out of here. This can't be real. This cannot be real. This dude is our president? Holy shit. Just wait till you see it. And he's talking, that usual unintelligible, mumbling, mushmouth way that he speaks. It's there. Don't worry. You'll get all of that. All the things we've grown and come to expect from him when he speaks, it's in this clip. 300 Americans, huh? How can we get on that list? Not that I'm going to take the shit, but I just want to know, how do you get on this very elite list of people, this 300 who are going to get this vaccination? Somebody please let me know. This is vaccine. Oh my goodness, man. Somebody please tell me now you're on the city bus, you pull that thing that rings the bell so they stop and let you off. Where is it? Where is it so I can get the fuck off of this ride called Bidenis Pervertis' presidency? Oh, man. 300 Americans! Anyway, let me tell you something else stupid that he did. So last week, he signs this executive order for transgender Americans. Oh, thank God that tiny, minute portion of the population is at the top of the priority list. So now, any federal agency or whatever, they can't fire somebody or whatever because of their sexual orientation. Who is that happening to? How does your employer even know your sexual orientation? How do they know? Unless you're a porno star and your job is to fuck, how does your employer know your sexual orientation? Who is getting fired for their sexual orientation? Is this Philadelphia with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington? Who does this happen to, and why does your employer know who you're fucking? That should be no information that they are privy to. That is your private info. Why does your employer know? What employer is dumb enough in this day and time to fire someone because of their sexual orientation? Please tell me. And he says he doesn't want kids to worry about not being able to use the bathroom or the locker room or play sports. Like most of you, I went to school in America. I went to school with all kinds of different people. None of them had any problems getting into the bathroom of their choice. No one's standing at the door saying, hey, you little weirdo, you're transgender. Go piss and shit somewhere else. Nobody says that. Nobody does that. But you should not be going into a restroom that you don't have the plumbing for. Number one, if you got a dick, you go in there with the guys. If you got a vagine, a clam, if you got a fucking clam, you go in there with the ladies. Period. Come out of there, live your fucking life. But I don't understand, especially at a school. Like, who does this happen to? And when it comes to sports, I'm sorry. I don't want my daughter playing sports against a boy. It's not fair and it's fucking weird. I don't want my daughter, if she's wrestling or something like that, I don't want her rolling on the mat with a little boy. That's the last thing a father wants in any capacity. But the shit ain't fair. Boys, I know, I hope you're sitting down. Boys are stronger and faster. So it's not fucking fair. You're going to start giving these sports scholarships to these boys because they're dressed up like a girl? What kind of weird, sick shit is this? How well are we doing as a country for us to worry about stupid shit like this? You think in one of those countries where you can't walk down that way towards school because a tiger might snatch your ass, you think they're worried about some transgender little boy not being able to piss where he wants to? Of course not. But we have it so well and so good that this is the kind of stupid, insignificant nonsense that we're worried about. And he said that this will bring peace of mind to millions of Americans. How many fucking transgender people are in America? I've read numbers that say that gay people are like 1% of the population. So transgender's got to be what, half of 1%? So that's what, 1.5 million people, if that? Hey, check this out. Instead of worrying about where they piss and shit, how about you get that pesky suicide rate under control? Because it's still around 40%. Why don't you worry about keeping them alive instead of where they piss? How about that? You mean to tell me in your first whatever days of office, however many of these stupid ass executive orders you're going to crank out, this is what you're worried about? This shit pisses me off to no end. We have so many more important things to worry about, so much more out of control spending to get under control, so much corruption. How about the suicide rate after this shelter in place, online schooling bullshit? So many other things to worry about, but he's signing executive orders for this many people. Even smaller for ones in school. This is what they care about. Obama did the same thing, lighting the fucking White House up in rainbow colors. Man, this shit is so stupid. But this is what people wanted. You didn't want the tough guy who was getting shit done because he didn't make you feel good in your widow heart. So you went out and got everybody's grandpa who can't do shit right, who's being manipulated by corporations, saying what they want him to say, doing what they want him to do. That's why he got involved with that GameStop shit. The president should be nowhere near that. That's not even in your fucking stratosphere of things to worry about. But here's where we are. Here's what we're doing. Coming to a school near you, some 6'2", 200-pound boy across from your 5'5", 130-pound junior and high school daughter. Have fun. Make sure you put her through concussion protocol after she's done fighting that man. Holy shit, man. Holy shit. And this is what? His second week in office? Man, let me get the hell out of here. The shooting range is actually open today, so I get to go pew in California. Believe it or not. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Get your Jericho Green notification tone. Link in the description box. Utilize the PayPal link and the Teespring link to get your green gear. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.